As I lay in the hospital bed waiting for chemotherapy, my husband Chinji was flirting with his fourth mistress. When I called, he laughed nonchalantly. Xingxia, you've gone so far as to lie just to find me. I weakly denied. No, it's your bland, water-like wife again. Don't waste time with her, come take a look at my new dress. Isn't it nice? A charming female voice came from the other end of the phone, sounding clear and lively, and Chinji quickly hung up. I stared at the darkened screen, speechless and dazed. After a long time, the screen lit up again. A message from my mother appeared. Xia, your sister has a cold, and mom can't leave. I'll come see you the day after tomorrow. I helplessly releasing the grip, the phone slipping from my palm. After living 42 years, I ended up with such a ridiculous fate. When I opened my eyes again, I was back in the summer of 20 years ago. Xingxia, what's wrong with you? Wake up. I suddenly opened my eyes and stared blankly at the beautiful girl in front of me. My roommate, Jiang Mingzhu. But something was off. How could she look so young? And hadn't she already passed away? Leaping from the 20th floor with her husband whose infidelity had consumed her and who had secretly raised a bastard child behind her back, the vibrant, radiant girl fell like a lifeless butterfly into the bleakness of autumn. 1 month after I was diagnosed with cancer. Meizhu, what's wrong? Seeing my pale face, she gently wiped the cold sweat from my forehead. Did you have a nightmare? You were punching and kicking, scaring me. Well, I had a nightmare. I gave a perfunctory reply, glancing at the old-fashioned furnishings around me. My heart suddenly jolted. This is my college dormitory. The calendar on the wall clearly reads September 24th, 2000. I've actually gone back 20 years. Hey, don't just stand there. Nap time is over. We should head to the library preparing for the postgraduate entrance exam, aren't you? Oh, I'll go now. I rubbed my face and got up from the bed, dazedly walking to the bathroom. The cold water splashed on my face, and I finally woke up completely. I really have returned to the past. This year, I am a senior in college, preparing for the postgraduate entrance exam. After studying day and night, I successfully got into graduate school. However, just 1 month before the start of graduate school, my mother was diagnosed with uterine fibroids and needed a large sum of money for surgery. My father said he would go out to borrow money, but he never returned. My younger siblings are still in school. My mother was bleeding nonstop, in so much pain she couldn't sleep night after night. She took many medications, but nothing helped, and her complexion grew increasingly pale and ashen day by day. I had no choice but to give up on graduate school and use the tuition money I had painstakingly saved from working to pay for her surgery. Even so, we were still short a significant portion of the funds. For this money, I turned to my senior brother Chinji, who had been pursuing me. At that time, he had just graduated for a year. To help me gather this sum, he begged everyone he knew and lived on steamed buns and pickles for several months. Guilt and gratitude became heavy weights, firmly hanging around my neck, making it impossible for me to lift my head in front of him. On the day he handed me the money, he clutched the envelope and said, Xia, this is a lot of money. You won't be able to repay it anytime soon. What if it delays me from getting married? How about this, marry me? This money can be my tribute to our mother. Okay, don't worry. I'll treat you well for the rest of my life. I was stunned, unable to speak, my lips trembling. He had been pursuing me, but I didn't like him and had refused him several times. But now, the envelope in his hand contained my mother's life. There was no way I could refuse. After my mother was discharged from the hospital, we got married. After working hard for several years and saving up a sum of money, we started our own business. We worked tirelessly, starting from a small cosmetics counter to building our own factory, and eventually becoming a listed company. From a cramped and dilapidated rental house to a spacious and bright villa, the days of shedding tears and sweat together are the most fertile ground for feelings to grow. From my initial sense of gratitude and repayment towards him, affection and attachment began to emerge. However, Before the tendrils of love could fully extend, a thunderbolt struck from the sky. He cheated. According to him, it was just a drunken prank. He begged me to forgive him. My mother also urged me. Xia. A woman must learn to be forgiving. Qinji has already knelt down and asked for your forgiveness. He was just confused for a moment. Think about all the things he did for you back then. That night, the rain mixed with Qinji's tears, soaking the hem of my pants. I looked at this man who had eaten steamed buns for months to save money for me. Remembering his profile as he slept exhausted on the bench outside the hospital ward after my mother's successful surgery, my heart softened. But forgiveness is like the first ant hole in a dam. After the first drunken indiscretion came the second act of playing along. And even a third instance of taking care of my sister. Take care of my sister Xing Xin. The two of them had an ambiguous relationship. Thinking of Xing Xin, my heart felt as if it had been sharply pricked by a poisonous needle. That little girl who used to follow me around, calling out in a soft, sweet voice, "Sister, hold me," actually climbed into my brother-in-law's bed while I was busy worrying about the factory's cash flow. When found, she was curled up in Qinji's arms, her face showing no trace of shame, only a kind of innocent cruelty. "Sister." Brother-in-law said he's too tired and needs someone to understand him. "You're always busy like a man. When do you have time to care about him?" At that moment, I was so angry I trembled all over, and I raised my hand to slap her. But Qinji stopped me. He shielded Xing Xin. Frowning at me, "Xing Xia, calm down. Xin is still young. She doesn't understand. Almost 30 years old. And still young." My heart went completely cold in that moment. When my mother found out, she just kept crying. Xia. Family scandals shouldn't be aired in public. Xin is your own sister. If this gets out, how will she ever face people? I'm begging you. Please forgive her. My younger brother also stopped me. "Big sister, just let it go. If something like this gets out, how will I ever hold my head up again?" Besides, what second sister said also makes sense. My mind went blank. These were the family members I had always protected. I gave up everything for them, endured humiliation and hardship. And this is how they treat me. I kept bearing. Until I was driven into the chemotherapy room, alone, waiting for death to come. And Thami husband, my sister, my brother, my mother all are living their own wonderful lives. Midsummer, what are you thinking about? Your face is deathly pale, Jiang Mingzhu said. Touching my hand with concern, I came to my senses, and the cold fingertips touched her warm skin, bringing a sudden wave of reality. This isn't a dream. I'm really back. Meizhu. I wiped my face and looked at the bright girl beside me, who was tying her hair into a ponytail. You say, is it utterly foolish for a person to repay a debt of gratitude with love, sacrificing their entire life? Jiang Mingzhu paused, then nodded firmly. Not just foolish, it's self-destruction. Gratitude is gratitude. Love is love. And life is life. How can they be confused? Her words were like a key, clicking open a long-rusted lock in my heart. Yes. Why should I spend my whole life repaying a debt of gratitude that has long since gone rotten? I took a deep breath and gave Jiang Mingzhu a genuine smile. Mingzhu. Thank you for waking me up. Jiang Mingzhu was momentarily stunned, then smiled back. Why be so polite with me? Let's go, or we'll miss out on seats at the library if we're late. I hurried to catch up with Jiang Mingzhu, walking along the familiar plane tree path, where September sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting dappled shadows. Everything is still not too late. Mingzhu. I linked arms with her. What are your plans after graduation? As for me, I'll probably go work for my cousin, she said, her eyes sparkling. My cousin started a company and said I should go work there after I graduate. I recalled from my past life that Jiang Mingzhu came from a well-off family and, being an only child, had developed a naive and carefree personality. She married a poor boy from the countryside, gave birth to a daughter after marriage, and never went out to work again, fooled by her husband's gentle and considerate facade. She only discovered the truth when her parents suddenly passed away and she needed money to arrange the funeral, only to find that all the assets had been transferred away. And her husband had already fathered an illegitimate child outside the marriage. Her daughter was pushed down the stairs by the illegitimate child and suffered a broken bone, while she herself was slapped by the mistress. Mother and daughter were driven to a desperate situation with no way out. Jiang Mingzhu is a simple and pretty girl, and also a loving and resolute mother. After my daughter recovered from her injuries, she kidnapped her husband's mistress and son, forcing him to surrender his assets to leave for their daughter. She beat the mistress and illegitimate child until they were paralyzed, then dragged her husband and jumped off a building with him. Mingzhu, listen to me. I stopped walking and looked at her seriously. If one day you fall in love, remember this. Don't just look at how good he is to you, find someone who is genuinely good to begin with. And never give up your future for anyone. She laughed at my serious tone. Xingxia, why are you acting so strange today? Did something upset you? Just pretend I had a really long nightmare, I said, gripping her hand tighter. Promise me you'll remember what I just said. Okay, I'll remember. She laughed and pulled me forward. Come on, let's go. The library was so quiet that only the sound of pages turning and the rustle of pen tips against paper could be heard. I opened my book, but couldn't focus on a single word. Thoughts of my mother weighed heavily on my mind. She loves me. When my father didn't want me to go to high school, she endured accusations and insults, working hard to support my education. Her back bent under the weight of heavy labor. Girl, study hard. Mom will support you. She stood in front of me when Chenji raised his hand toward me. Fearless. What do you think you're doing to my daughter? But she didn't love me that much. Among the 3 children, I was always the one left behind. Xing Xin and Xing Wei were twins, and they received attention from the moment they were born. New clothes and little snacks were never for me. My mother always says, your younger siblings are still young. As the eldest sister, you should give in to them. It's as if I was born to step back. But I'm only 2 years older than them. When she supported my education, she said, you're a good student and have a bright future. You'll marry into a good family and help your younger siblings a lot. Just like Aunt Lu's eldest daughter, who married a wealthy man and arranged a job and bought a house for her brother. But Aunt Lu's daughter's husband is even older than her father. Later, I gave her a lot of money, and she hugged me with tears in her eyes. My daughter has truly made it. Mom didn't raise you in vain. She left the money to her younger brother, gave her love to her sister, and to me. It was a heavy moral burden. Yet, I couldn't just ignore her. At least, when she fell seriously ill, I couldn't walk away. Xiongming, I lowered my voice. Do you know of any part-time jobs that pay quickly? She looked at me in surprise. Aren't you already tutoring? Not enough. I shook my head. I need more money. Jiang Mingzhu tilted her head, thinking for a moment. Then her eyes suddenly lit up. My cousin's company seems to be hiring part-time translators. He's in foreign trade, and often has English contracts and documents to handle. They pay per item, and the pay is pretty good. But the requirements are high. They're short-staffed right now. Your English isn't exceptionally good. Want to give it a try? Translate. A thought stirs within me. In my previous life, to expand into overseas markets. I taught myself business English on top of my existing foundation and even obtained an advanced interpretation certificate. Those complex contract clauses and industry-specific terms are already deeply ingrained in my mind. Mingzhu, could you help introduce me? I'd like to give it a try. No problem. We've arranged to have dinner together tonight. I'll ask for you then. Jiang Mingzhu readily agreed. I decided to give up on preparing for the postgraduate entrance exam first. The next day, Jiang Mingzhu's cousin agreed to let me try. And I found 2 more part-time jobs, busying myself day and night. My roommates all said I had gone crazy. Xingxia, did something happen at your home? If you're short on money, just let us know. It's nothing. I shook my head with a smile. I just want to save up a bit more money. I'm preparing for my mother's illness. According to the timeline from my previous life, my mother's uterine fibroids will be detected next July. I need to save up enough money in advance to cover the medical expenses. No longer owing favors. And then, gradually letting go of family ties. 3. When Chenji appeared, I was momentarily stunned. In the busy and hectic half-month, I had pushed all the painful entanglements from my past life to the back of my mind. I had even forgotten about him. Chenji is a senior from the class above mine. Our first encounter was a chance collision in the hallway last year. The warm blood boys swung their arms and hurried out to pee. Lay ball. They accidentally knocked me over, scattering the books in my arms all over the floor. Chenji apologized while pulling me up, but the words froze on his lips when his gaze met mine. The palm holding my arm was scorching hot. He said. I had crashed into his heart, but I couldn't feel such intense love for him, nor did I have the time or energy to cultivate feelings. I turned down his pursuit, but he refused to give up and kept pestering me. Now, the young man in his early 20s stood under the tree, wearing a clean white shirt. When he saw me, he happily lifted the corners of his lips, his handsome face showing obvious delight. Xingxia, I finally got to see you. I politely replied. Senior, is there something you need from me? Chenji lowered his eyes, a bitter expression spreading across his face. Can't I just come find you if I'm fine? If you're fine, then I'll be going. Wait. Chenji blocked my way. Xingxia, I know you don't like me, but you can't keep avoiding me like this. You're not even giving me a chance to pursue you. That's too cruel for me. Senior brother, don't waste your time on me. I really don't like you. And there's no good outcome between us. Proven by practice. Chenji's eyes dimmed slightly, but he still stood stubbornly. I can wait for you, no matter how long it takes. Xingxia, it's fine if you don't like me now, but one day, you will surely be moved by me. No. You won't. I walked past him and continued forward. The early autumn wind blew against my face, carrying a cool chill. Without the bond of kindness, we won't entangle anymore. I didn't notice, as I kept moving forward, that Chenji's gaze toward me had gradually grown dark. I took the translated materials and went to the address given by Jiang Mingzhu's cousin. The other party was satisfied with the previous trial draft and gave me a more complex English document, agreeing to have it delivered to the company after translation. The company is located in a semi-old office building, currently small in scale with few staff, but showing strong growth potential. Jiang Mingzhu's cousin, Zhao Lin, is about 27 or 28 years old, wearing a well-tailored light gray shirt with sleeves rolled up to his elbows, revealing a smooth, well-defined forearm. As he looks down at some documents, when he heard the knock on the door, he looked up, revealing a gentle and refined face. Xingxia. He set down his pen, his voice soft and warm. Mr. Zhao. Hello. Here are the translated materials. I handed over the folder with both hands. Zhao Lin took it but didn't open it immediately, instead gesturing for me to sit in the chair opposite him. Mingzhu mentioned you top of your class, winning scholarships every year. His tone was calm and unhurried. However, the materials on our side involve a lot of professional terminology and commercial clauses, which are more complex than ordinary text. I understand. So I also reviewed relevant industry materials and terminology databases to ensure accuracy. Mr. Zhao, you can take a look first, and if there are any issues, I can make immediate revisions. He then opened the folder and began to browse it with his eyes lowered. The office was quiet, with only the faint sound of paper turning. Sunlight filtered through the blinds, casting dappled shadows across his profile. About 5 minutes later, he closed the folder, looked up at me, and a faint yet genuine smile curved his lips. Better than I expected, he said, his tone carrying admiration. Not only is the language accurate, but you've also annotated some industry terms and potential risk points in the contract clauses. Any experience? My heart skipped a beat. This kind of experience shouldn't exist in the middle of summer. I carefully chose my words. I usually enjoy reading business cases and original novels. Maybe I've overanalyzed them a bit. Zhao Lin's gaze seemed to deepen for a moment. But he didn't press further, only nodding. Zhu Ming wasn't exaggerating. This document is quite urgent, and I'll have the finance department settle the payment at the highest rate. Also, he paused. We really do need a reliable translator right now. Especially someone who can handle professional contracts and industry materials. Would you be willing to work with us long term? We can sign a confidentiality agreement, and I can increase your compensation. Of course. Thank you, Mr. Zhao, for giving me this opportunity. A flicker of joy passed through my heart, and I couldn't help but curve my lips. All right. Zhao Lin's lips curved slightly, revealing a faint smile that softened the contours of his face. He pulled open the drawer, took out an envelope, and pushed it over. This is your payment for this time, and the materials you'll need to translate next time. The envelope was thicker than I had expected. Mr. Zhao, this is what you deserve. Zhao Lin seemed to sense my hesitation, explaining calmly. You helped us avoid a potential contractual risk. What we saved far exceeds this amount. Our company always pays according to ability, regardless of seniority. He spoke with an honest gaze, without any hint of condescension. Simply stating the facts. This made me feel slightly relieved and developed a bit more fondness. In my previous life, drifting through the business world, I had seen too many hypocritical faces. Thank you, Mr. Zhao. I didn't refuse further, carefully putting the envelope away. Then I'll be going back now. I'll finish the materials for next time as soon as possible. No rush. Zhao Lin stood up and walked around the desk. It's just noon. How about having a meal together? Mingzhu has been talking about you all the time, and I should take care of you on her behalf. The invitation came somewhat unexpectedly. I looked up at him. His expression was natural, as if he had just mentioned it casually. No need to trouble yourself, Mr. Zhao. Don't always call me Mr. Zhao. He smiled, his tone gentle yet firm. You're Mingzhu's friend. Just call me Brother Lin. There's a new restaurant downstairs that's quite good. Consider it a celebration of our first successful collaboration. His reasoning was just right, his attitude straightforward, making it hard to feel any aversion. After a brief hesitation, I nodded. Then I'll gladly accept your invitation. Zhao, Brother Lin. Let's go. He picked up the jacket draped over the back of the chair with a swift motion. 5. The restaurant had an elegant and serene atmosphere, and we chose a seat by the window. Zhao Lin naturally took the menu, ordered a few signature dishes, and thoughtfully inquired about my preferences and dietary restrictions. While waiting for the dishes, he wasn't in a hurry to discuss work. Instead, he started talking about Jiang Mingzhu. Pearl has been doted on by my aunt and uncle, making her a bit naive and not very cunning. She must have suffered quite a bit at school, right? His tone carried the resignation and indulgence of an older brother. Zhu Ming is kind and sincere, I said objectively. True friendship lies in mutual understanding, and she is very popular. Zhao Lin nodded, his gaze falling on my face with a hint of inquiry. She said you've changed a lot lately, working hard to earn money, even giving up the postgraduate entrance exam you valued so much. Has your family run into some difficulties? If there's anything I can help with, just let me know. My heart tightened. Zhao Lin appeared gentle and reserved, with no sharp edges about him. Yet his eyes were surprisingly shrewd and perceptive. Nothing serious. I shook my head, carefully choosing my words. I just want to work and earn some money first. Then maybe pursue graduate studies later when the chance comes. Is that so? Zhao Lin's slender fingers gently traced the edge of the white porcelain teacup, his expression soft. He then began discussing the company's future development direction and the types of translations that might be needed, covering a wide range of areas. It was clear that Zhao Lin had great ambitions. If you have time, you can look into this area more. If you're interested, you're welcome to join us after graduation. This was almost a clear job offer. Thank you, Brother Lin. I'll seriously consider it. Zhao Lin smiled. The food was served, and we ate quietly. His table manners were excellent. He didn't talk much, but he never let the atmosphere grow awkward. I gradually relaxed. On the way back, I couldn't help but feel puzzled. In my previous life, after graduation, Jiang Mingzhu and I went our separate ways, not seeing each other for a full 20 years. We met again in the hospital, where I went to pick up my test results, and Jiang Mingzhu was staying with her hospitalized daughter. After 20 years apart, I never imagined that our reunion would also mark the beginning of a final farewell. Just over 40 years old, Jiang Mingzhu's hair was already gray, her face covered in fine wrinkles, aged like a withered leaf that had lost its moisture. Fragile and helpless, and I had just been diagnosed with cancer, beginning my life's countdown in unbearable suffering. We sat together, talking about our experiences over the past 20 years, and wept bitterly. The accumulated pain and grievances found an outlet. And we soaked each other's shoulders with our tears. But if Zhao Lin were here, Jiang Mingzhu wouldn't be so lonely and helpless. We felt that the relationship between the cousins was good, and he wouldn't let Jiang Mingzhu fall into such a desperate situation. From his conversation, I could roughly estimate his business plan, which perfectly aligned with future development trends. He should achieve great success. Yet I had never heard his name before. What exactly happened in between? 6. Afternoon sunlight filtered through the gaps in the plane tree leaves. Dancing on the old bench, I flipped through the new materials Zhao Lin had given me, my fingertips gliding over the complex technical terms and clauses, a sense of familiarity rising within me. In my previous life, I had spent countless days and nights poring over such things to uncover the traps hidden in various agreements. Xia. Someone sat down in the empty seat beside me, his voice low. It was Ji. It had been a week since he last came to see me, and I thought he had given up. He reached out and pressed the edge of the paper. Xia. Let's talk. Senior brother. There's nothing left to discuss between us. I've already made my intentions clear to you. Just a few words. I know you don't want to talk about feelings right now. But Xia, I heard you've been busy making money lately. Have you run into some difficulties? I can help you. I'm fine. No difficulties. Don't need your help. Ji didn't believe it. Then why did you give up on the postgraduate entrance exam? And you even found several jobs. Working day and night. How do you know all this? He had already graduated and started working, so he wasn't often on campus. How could he know my situation so clearly? Ji's expression stiffened. Just heard it from your friend. Who? Which friend? I had a vague suspicion in my heart. It's Bai Nianhuan, right? She's my roommate, and she's casually said quite a few good things about Ji from time to time. Ji's confidence waned. Xia, don't be angry. I just wanted to care about you. But you ignored me, so I went to her to find out. I've saved some money, and my parents sent me some more. If you need money, I can help you. No need. Ji, whether I give up on postgraduate studies or earn money, it's just my personal life plan. It has nothing to do with you. How could it not matter? Ji leaned forward slightly, trying to catch my gaze. Xia, if you need money, just tell me. I can give it to you. The face before me was still young, filled with sincerity and stubbornness, but behind the sweet candy coating lies bitter medicine. Senior brother. I calmly interrupted him. Please don't ask about me through anyone in the future. And don't come looking for me again. There's absolutely no possibility between us. I closed the file and stood up. I have something else to do. I'll be going now. Xia. Ji stood up as well, his voice carrying a hint of urgency. Do you really hate me that much? Not even willing to be friends? I stopped in my tracks, turning my back to him. The afternoon breeze swept by, carrying the dry rustle of plane tree leaves. It's not dislike. It's just unnecessary. There was no mistaken beginning, and no need to continue the entanglement. Back at the dorm, Bai Nianhuan was trying on a new dress in front of the Aurora pink one that made her cheeks look radiant. When she saw me, her eyes flickered for a moment before she broke into a smile. Chen Xia, you're back. Did Senior Chen just leave? I saw him waiting for you for quite a while. Yeah, I replied flatly. Senior Chen is such a great guy, handsome, considerate, and so devoted. Bai Nianhuan twirled in front of the mirror. If a man like that pursued me, I would have agreed long ago. Chen Xia, what exactly are you being picky about? I put down what I was holding and turned to look at her. Bai Nianhuan felt a bit uneasy under my gaze and smoothed her hair. What's wrong, Nianhuan? I said calmly. You like Chen Ji, don't you? Her face instantly turned red. You're talking nonsense. You don't need to deny it. If you like him, you can go after him. There's no need to beat around the bush with me, and certainly no need to tell him every little detail about me. I walked up to her, looking straight into her panicked eyes. This is the first and last time. I don't like others interfering in my life, nor do I appreciate being used as an excuse to get close to someone I care about. We are roommates. But there are boundaries, I hope you understand. Bai Nianhuan's face lost its color. Her lips clenched, and her eyes slightly reddened, as if she had suffered a great injustice. Xing Xia, what do you mean? I kindly helped you set things up, and now it's my fault. What's wrong with senior brother Chen? I was only doing it for your own good. I don't need your so-called good intentions, I stated calmly. You know exactly what this is about. Please don't bother with me anymore. The shame and embarrassment of being exposed caused her tears to fall in streams. She glared at me fiercely, grabbed the small bag on the table, and slammed the door as she left. In her previous life, Bai Nianhuan had often spoken up for Chen Ji in front of me. Her words implied that I was ungrateful and pretending to be noble. I'm not good with words, and when I wanted to argue, I didn't know how to say it. It was Jiang Mingzhu who helped me refute her instead. Who likes whom is Xingxia's freedom. Why are you meddling here like a busybody? I think it's you who's got a crush. Using Xingxia as an excuse. Back then, Jiang Mingzhu always acted like a protective mother hen, standing in front of me. In this lifetime, I want to draw these vague, uncomfortable boundaries with absolute clarity. 7. Bai Nianhuan has been avoiding me for several days in a row, and the atmosphere in the dorm has become subtly tense. Jiang Mingzhu asked me privately, did you have a fight with Bai Nianhuan? I noticed her eyes have been swollen for days. I briefly explained the situation. Jiang Mingzhu curled her lips. I knew she had ulterior motives. As soon as Chen Ji arrived, she was more eager than anyone else. It's good that you called her out, so she won't keep pretending to be a good person in front of you. I smiled and didn't continue the topic. Busyness is the best cure for all overthinking. I poured all my energy into translation work and 2 other part-time jobs, keeping my schedule packed to the brim. The compensation offered by Zhao Lin's company was extremely generous, far exceeding my expectations. Combined with income from other part-time jobs, by the end of the year, I had already saved a considerable amount of money. By next July, I would have enough to cover my mother's surgery expenses. This made me feel much more at ease. As winter break was approaching, I gave my mother a call. Xia, Mom, it's me. I took a deep breath, trying to sound relaxed. How are you feeling? Are you okay? How about I take you for a checkup? I thought if we could get an early checkup while the condition wasn't serious yet, maybe surgery wouldn't be necessary. I'm perfectly fine. Why waste that money? My mother added. Hey, if you have that money, remember to go to the wholesale market next to the train station when you come back for the holidays and buy your brother a pair of sports shoes, the branded ones. All his friends have them. Also, your sister has been talking about that snow cream for a long time. Bring 2 bottles for her too. My heart felt as if it were soaked in ice water. Chillingly painful. In my past life, such requests were all too common. I always scrimp and save, doing my best to meet their needs, as if it were my innate responsibility as the eldest daughter. Mom, I interrupted her. Sneakers and snowflake cream aren't cheap. I have a heavy workload this year and I'm busy with part-time jobs. So I haven't saved much money. Let my brother make do with his old shoes. And as for my sister's snowflake cream, she can buy it herself when she starts working. There was a moment of silence on the other end of the phone, as if she hadn't expected me to refuse. Then, my mother raised her voice. How can you be so inconsiderate? Your brother and sister are eagerly waiting. You're the eldest sister. When you earn money, you should support the family instead of only thinking about yourself. Look at your Aunt Lou's eldest daughter. She built a new house for her family last year. Here we go again with the same old speech. I gripped the phone tighter, my nails digging into my palm, causing a faint sting. Mom, Aunt Lou's eldest daughter married an old man older than her father, and the money she got was used to build a house. Do you want me to go down that path too? What are you saying? My mother choked, her tone turning annoyed. Do I mean that? I just want you to buy something for your younger siblings. You keep making excuses and talking back. I've raised you all for nothing. That familiar, heavy, suffocating pain in my chest surged up again. Mom, I got into college. My tuition was covered by student loans, and my living expenses were earned from my own part-time jobs. Everything you've given me, I remember, and I'll pay you back in the future. But Xing Xin and Xing Wei, they are not my responsibility. I won't buy such expensive things for them. After saying that, without waiting for my mother to react, I quickly added, Mom, I have something to do. I have to hang up now. After hanging up the phone, I leaned against the cold wall and let out a long, heavy sigh. But the gloom in my heart was hard to dispel. Jiang Mingzhu noticed my low spirits and insisted on dragging me out shopping over the weekend, claiming that retail therapy cures everything. Look at this sweater of yours, it's all pilled. And these pants, they've been washed so much they're faded. She pointed at my clothes. Come on, big sister is taking you shopping today to celebrate your smooth translation work. She half dragged, half pulled me to the busiest commercial street in the city. 8. The winter sun was warm and gentle, and the street was bustling with people, full of the lively atmosphere of everyday life. Jiang Mingzhu couldn't put down a beige cashmere coat and insisted I try it on. Xingxia, your skin is so fair, you'd definitely look great in this. I couldn't argue with her, so I tried it on. The girl in the mirror had a slender figure. The off-white color made her complexion appear even cleaner, and the well-tailored coat outlined subtle curves, making her look much more spirited than in her old clothes. Looks good, right? I told you. Jiang Mingzhu's eyes sparkled as she turned to go get the receipt. I quickly stopped her, flipped over the price tag, and felt a pang in my heart. The price was almost as much as my monthly living expenses. Zhu Ming, it's too expensive. I really don't need it. Need it? How could you not need it? You're practically a working adult now, so you should have some decent clothes. Without giving him a chance to argue, she said, consider it a loan from me. You can pay me back when you're successful. Okay. We were tugging at each other when a gentle male voice came from behind. Zhu Ming, Xingxia. Jiang Mingzhu and I turned around at the same time, only to see Zhao Lin walking out of a men's clothing store, carrying 2 paper bags. He was wearing a dark gray wool coat today, which made his figure appear tall and straight, with clear-cut features, standing out prominently in the bustling mall. Brother-in-law, Jiang Mingzhu exclaimed in surprise. What are you doing here? Zhao Lin approached, his gaze lingering on me for a moment before naturally shifting away to look at Jiang Mingzhu. Here to pick up the custom-made shirt. Are you two shopping? Yeah. Bring Xingxia to buy clothes. Jiang Mingzhu linked her arm with mine, showing off. Cousin, look. Doesn't this coat look especially good on her? Zhao Lin's gaze fell on me again, this time lingering a little longer. He nodded, his tone calm. It suits you very well. My cheeks flushed slightly, and I subtly turned my body. Thank you, Brother Lin. Mingzhu insisted I try it, but actually, I buy it. Zhao Lin suddenly spoke, interrupting me. He turned to the salesperson, his tone casual. Please prepare the receipt. I was stunned. Brother Lin. You don't have to. Just treat it as a year-end work bonus. Zhao Lin took the receipt from the clerk. Looked at me. His gaze calm and untroubled. The translations you've done over the past few months have helped the company a lot, saving us time and potential costs. A coat is nothing. Mingzhu said you've been working hard lately. You deserve to treat yourself well. His words were reasonable and his tone straightforward, leaving no room for fault or the awkwardness of being given charity. Jiang Mingzhu chimed in from the side. Exactly. Exactly. Summer. Don't refuse. My cousin is famously stingy. It's not easy to squeeze any rewards out of him. Zhao Lin glanced at her coolly, and Jiang Mingzhu immediately stuck out her tongue. I watched his slender fingers holding that small receipt, hesitated for a moment, and ultimately didn't refuse again. Then thank you, Brother Lin. Zhao Lin's lips curved slightly, seemingly pleased that I didn't continue with formalities. He glanced at his watch. It's almost noon. Shall we have lunch together? I know a nice old restaurant nearby. Jiang Mingzhu immediately raised her hand. Great. Great. I've been hungry for a while now. We all went to the restaurant Zhao Lin mentioned. The atmosphere was quiet and elegant, and the dishes were exquisite and delicious. Zhao Lin is very considerate, taking into account both my and Jiang Mingzhu's tastes when ordering dishes. And the atmosphere at the table is relaxed. Jiang Mingzhu chatters away about interesting things at school, while Zhao Lin mostly listens quietly, occasionally asking a question or two. And his gaze occasionally falls on me. When I mentioned that I didn't plan to go home during the winter break and wanted to stay in the capital to find a short-term part-time job, Zhao Lin paused briefly while picking up food with his chopsticks. Not going back even for the new year. Yeah. I want to save up a bit more money. I mumbled vaguely. That was one of the reasons. Back home, there was my father comfortably lounging around, my younger siblings playing, and me, who had to listen to my mother's complaints while doing chores. Even so, I was still the one being overlooked. These reasons make me feel deeply ashamed. Speaking them aloud feels like both complaining and begging for pity. Jiang Mingzhu looked at me with a heart full of sympathy. Xingxia, don't push yourself too hard. Your health is what matters most. Zhao Lin pondered for a moment before speaking. Actually, the company has some scattered translation and paperwork tasks to handle before and after the new year, and someone needs to be in the office to answer the phone. If you don't mind, you could come to the company part-time, paid by the day at the same rate as a full-time employee. How does that sound? The environment here is more stable than outside. This was undoubtedly an excellent opportunity. I immediately nodded. Of course not. Thank you, Brother Lin. You're welcome. It's a mutual benefit. Zhao Lin smiled, his gaze gentle. Mingzhu always says you're independent and capable. Looks like she wasn't exaggerating. Jiang Mingzhu proudly lifted her chin. Of course. My judgment about people is always spot on. I gave her a helpless glance. She has great taste in friends, but terrible taste in men. 9. After dinner, Zhao Lin drove us back to school. The car stopped at the school gate. Just as I was about to push the door open to get out, Zhao Lin called out to me, Xingxia. Wait a moment. He took a simply packaged rectangular box from the storage compartment in the passenger seat and handed it over. The client was very satisfied with the contract risk point you highlighted last time and added an extra bonus. This is an additional token of thanks. I hesitate. And didn't immediately take it. Brother Lin, you've already paid me. And besides, you just gave me a piece of clothing earlier. This doesn't seem appropriate. Take it, Zhao Lin said in a gentle tone, yet with an undeniable firmness. You've helped the company avoid potential losses. This is what you deserve, not something expensive, but something useful for your work. Jiang Mingzhu leaned in curiously. What is it, cousin? Have you learned to give gifts now? Zhao Lin ignored her, only looking at me. I took the box, feeling it was somewhat heavy in my hands. Under Zhao Lin's gaze, I opened the lid of the box. Inside was a black pen, with smooth lines and a subtle metallic sheen, and a small silver logo on the cap. I notice you often use an old pen that doesn't flow very smoothly, Zhao Lin said calmly. For translation and paperwork, having the right tools is important. My fingertips gently brushed over the cool surface of the pen. I've used countless expensive designer pens in my past life. But in this one, I really only use a cheap old fountain pen, often running out of ink mid-writing. I didn't expect he'd notice even such a small detail. This brand isn't cheap at all, Brother Lin. This is too valuable. I can't accept it. It's just a tool, Zhao Lin said with a gentle smile, his eyes slightly curved. If you feel uneasy about it, then use it to work hard. Its value lies in what you can write with it. With things put this way, refusing any further would seem insincere. I held the box in my arms, my fingertips feeling the smooth, warm texture of the leather pen case. Thank you, Brother Lin. I'll make good use of it. Zhao Lin nodded and said nothing more. Back at the dorm, Bai Nianhuan wasn't there. Jiang Mingzhu couldn't wait to urge me to try on the new coat. And she kept turning the fountain pen over and over in her hands. My cousin may seem cold, but he's actually quite thoughtful, she said, resting her chin on her hand, lost in thought. He's never been this generous with his employees before. Xingxia. Do you think he's? Don't jump to conclusions, I interrupted her, carefully putting the pen away. Brother Lin said it's a work reward and a tool. Oh, Jiang Mingzhu drawled, her eyes twinkling with mischief. Tools. Huh. Fine. But seriously. My cousin is 10,000 times better than that Shinji. If you're Zhu Ming. I laughed and cried. Right now, I just want to make money. I don't have the heart to think about anything else. That's the truth. The marriage in my past life was like a long and painful slow torture, draining all my trust and expectations in intimate relationships. Love. That's too extravagant. And too dangerous. Right now, only the money in my hand can give me a real sense of security. Winter break began, and most students left campus, leaving the dormitory building suddenly empty and quiet. As agreed, I went to Zhao Lin's company for a part-time job. As the year-end approaches, the company has become much quieter, with fewer people around. Apart from the administrative staff on duty and a few colleagues staying in Beijing for projects, the entire floor is very still. Zhao Lin seems busier than usual, often going out, but he always returns to the company once every afternoon. Sometimes he would come to the small temporary office I was using to check in, asking if the work was going smoothly or if anything needed to be added. Occasionally, he would bring a box of pastries or a few cups of hot drinks to share with the colleagues who stayed behind. His attitude has always been gentle and measured, maintaining the care of a superior for a capable employee, yet with an added touch of friendliness due to Jiang Mingzhu's connection. This made me feel very comfortable, gradually letting go of my initial restraint. 10. On the 28th day of the 12th lunar month, I received a call from my mother. Xia, when are you coming back? The New Year's goods at home aren't all prepared yet, and the house hasn't been cleaned either. Your dad can't be relied on, and your younger siblings are still too young to understand. Mom can't handle it all alone. My mother's voice carried her usual weariness and a sense of natural expectation. Mom, I can't make it back. I've taken on some work and can't get away. Work. What work could be more important than the new year? Her voice rose sharply. Not coming home for the new year, what kind of behavior is that? What am I supposed to tell the neighbors when they ask? Aunt Lou's eldest daughter drove back in a car this year, loaded with New Year's goods. That familiar, suffocating sense of frustration welled up inside me again. I took a deep breath, trying to keep my tone calm. Mom, I'm not like her. I need this job. You'll have to buy the New Year's goods yourselves. I transferred 500 yuan to the account you gave me yesterday. That should be enough. There was silence on the other end of the line for a few seconds. Then, my mother's voice softened, though it still carried a hint of dissatisfaction. Money is money, but if you don't come back, your brother and sister miss you. Miss me? Is it the gifts I bring that you miss? Or is it me, the free labor? I'm really busy, Mom. If there's nothing else, I'll hang up now. I still have work to do. Hey, wait. My mother quickly called out to stop me, her tone becoming somewhat cautious again. Xia, you haven't run into any trouble out there, have you? Why are you suddenly working so hard to earn money? Is it because you have a boyfriend? Let me tell you, don't learn from those who are up to no good. Girls should have self-respect. Money should be spent on the right things, and it's better to help out the family more. My heart gradually grew cold. Look, this is my mother. She might have a tiny bit of concern, but more than that, it's scrutiny, suspicion, endless demands, and binding. I don't have a boyfriend. The money was earned through my own hard work, clean and honest. I interrupted her, speaking word by word. Mom, I'm in my 20s. I know what I'm doing. I have to get back to work now. Goodbye. I hung up the phone, leaned back in my chair, and stared out the window at the gray, overcast winter sky. Motionless for a long time, until a soft knock sounded at the door. Zhao Lin stood in the doorway, holding a brown paper file folder. He wasn't wearing a coat today, just a light gray cashmere sweater, making his figure appear even more slender and upright. Didn't I disturb you? He said as he stepped inside, his gaze lingering on my face for a moment. No, Brother Lin. Is there something you need? This document needs to be translated urgently. The client wants to see it tomorrow morning. He placed the file folder on my desk. A call from home. I paused, wondering if he had heard something. After a brief hesitation, I still gave a soft Unpleasant. He asked directly, but his tone wasn't offensive, more like a natural inquiry born out of concern. I didn't know how to respond. Family matters are hard to talk about, especially those deeply rooted grievances and helplessness. Zhao Lin seemed to sense my difficulty and didn't press further. Instead, he turned around, poured a cup of hot water, and placed it beside my hand. The end of the year is always tough. Every family has its own struggles, he said calmly, with a soothing tone that could put one at ease. Sometimes, keeping a proper distance is better for everyone. I looked up and met his calm, steady gaze. There is no probing, no judgment, only a transparent understanding. How could he understand? Could someone like him, born into privilege, successful in his career at a young age, and seemingly calm and restrained, also have times when he is troubled by family matters? However, having known him for so long, I have never heard him talk about his parents. Zhao Lin seemed to understand my confusion. He walked to the window and gazed at the bare branches outside. My parents separated when I was very young, each starting a new family. I grew up with my grandfather. During holidays, both sides would invite me over for meals, and at the table, there were always complaints about the other side, or concern about my current situation. How were my exams? What do you plan to do in the future? Can you help support your half-siblings? I was stunned, completely unexpected that he would bring it up on his own. Back then, I felt that the liveliness belonged to them, while I was like an outsider. Zhao Lin turned around, leaning against the windowsill with his back to the light, which made his face somewhat indistinct. Later, my grandfather told me that blood ties cannot be severed, but affection is built through interaction. If it feels forced, it's better to take care of yourself first. Live your own life clearly, and when you have the capacity, then think about how to handle those complicated relationships. He paused, his gaze settling on my face. Xia, you are the most clear-headed and resilient girl I've ever met. But sometimes, those who are too clear-headed are more easily trapped by responsibility and affection. Don't forget, you are yourself first and foremost. His words were like a knife, gently slicing open the hard shell I had wrapped around my heart, revealing the bloody, unspoken weakness and confusion inside. I toiled relentlessly, desperately trying to save enough money to sever the ties of gratitude with Chenji, and also striving to no longer be a financial burden on my family, thinking that this would break the chains. Yet deep down, I was still bound by the identities of daughter and sister. still yearning for that pure maternal love and familial recognition that I had never received. That's why, after just one phone call from my mother, my mood plummeted so deeply, my eyes grew hot. And I lowered my head. I sometimes just wonder if it's because I'm not good enough, not mature enough, or if I don't give enough money. That, you're already good enough. Zhao Lin walked back to the table, placed his hands on the edge, and leaned forward slightly, his warm, clear eyes fixed steadily on me. In the height of summer, don't measure yourself by other standards, whether it's family or love. Neither is gained through begging or trading. A stone suddenly dropped into the still lake of my heart, sending ripples across its surface. The office was heated to the point of stuffiness, with a thin layer of mist clinging to the windows. Zhao Lin straightened up, his gaze turning to the blurred street scene outside. My grandfather once told me, a person's life is most important in living with clarity about what you want, what you can have, and what you should hold on to. He paused. I think, deep down, you already know. You just need a little push to move forward. Yes, I understand. I understand where the absurdity and regret of my past 42 years came from. I understand that in this life, I must never step into the same river again. But between understanding and doing, there are mountains and rivers. And over 20 years of deeply ingrained conditioning, after deciding to resist, it felt as if two strings were tied to my heart, pulling in opposite directions, twisting and causing immense pain. Brother Lin. I looked up, my voice slightly hoarse. Thank you. Thank you for your words. Thank you for the pen. Thank you for this meal. And thank you for this perfectly measured understanding and restraint. Zhao Lin shook his head, saying nothing, but gently pushed the urgent document toward me again. No rush. Just finish it today. I'll treat you and Mingzhu to dinner tonight. She's been complaining for days, saying she feels bad leaving you alone at the office working overtime. His tone was light, skillfully shifting the subject and dispelling the slightly oppressive atmosphere in the air. All right. I smiled and opened the file folder. It was an English contract for electronic component procurement, with complex clauses and dense technical terminology. I took a deep breath, cleared my mind of distractions, and focused intently on the task at hand. The pen tip glided across the paper. The fountain pen Zhao Lin had given me was indeed incredibly smooth, with even ink flow, making writing a true pleasure. When I finally finished proofreading the last line and looked up, the city lights had already begun to glow outside the window. 11. Zhao Lin, with his coat draped over his arm, gently knocked twice on the door. Let's go. Mingzhu is already getting impatient. If we don't head over soon, she'll start complaining about me exploiting my employees. All right. I'm coming. I quickly gathered my things and left the company with him. We walked side by side, Zhao Lin carrying a faint scent of cedar fresh and clean, calming my mood. Jiang Mingzhu had made a reservation at a hot pot restaurant, where steam rose and the atmosphere was full of warmth and liveliness. She had already ordered the dishes. The red oil bubbled vigorously, filling the air with an enticing aroma. If you don't come soon, I'm going to faint from hunger, she exclaimed dramatically, slapping the table. Qingxia, hurry up and sit down. I've already blanched the tripe for you. As the piping hot food went down, Jiang Mingzhu chattered away about how she had been tormented at home over the past few days. My aunts and uncles really have nothing better to do. They insist on setting me up on blind dates. My parents aren't even in a hurry, but they're so anxious they could practically burst into flames. It's so annoying. And with the new year just around the corner, instead of being busy at home, they come over to our place every day, asking all sorts of questions where I'm working, bragging about how successful their own kids are. Honestly, who cares about this nonsense? I wish they'd get a big sore in their mouths. I couldn't help but curve my lips. So good. She's still so lively, vibrant, and full of energy. Zhao Lin picked up a pair of chopsticks and served her some green vegetables. His tone exasperated. It's the new year. At least keep your mouth shut. Jiang Mingzhu made a silly face at him, then turned to me. Qingxia, You judge. Am I right or not? I smiled and nodded. Yes. Mingzhu is right about everything. On the 29th day of the 12th lunar month, the vast office area was left with only me and Zhao Lin. He finished the last few documents and came out of the office. Pack up. I'll take you back to school. No need to trouble yourself, Brother Lin. I can just take the bus back. It's on the way. Zhao Lin picked up the car keys and walked ahead. Leaving no room for refusal, the car glided smoothly along the winter streets. The streetlights and neon signs from the shops cast flickering shadows on his profile through the car window. New Year's Eve. How do you plan to spend it? He suddenly asked. With a few classmates who stayed on campus. Who? He responded. Then fell silent. As he approached the school gate, he slowly brought the car to a stop. Here. Take this. Zhao Lin handed me a red envelope. Thick to the touch. Brother Lin. This won't do. You've already given me my salary and bonus. And you've given quite a lot. Not salary. Zhao Lin looked at me. His gaze gentle. It's New Year's money. I was stunned. Take it. It's not much, both Mingzhu and you can have it. His lips curved slightly. A faint smile spreading in his eyes. A little good luck charm. I hope next year brings you smooth sailing and all your wishes come true. His tone was so natural, as if this were truly just an ordinary New Year's blessing. But my heart felt as if it had been gently bumped. Aching and swelling. In my previous life, ever since I became an adult, I never received New Year's money again. In the first year of our marriage, Qinji gave me a red envelope containing a brand new 100 yuan bill. After that, there was never another one. He said, "We're all adults now. Why bother with these formalities? Money should be spent where it matters most." Those matters were his social engagements, his parents' social obligations, his younger siblings' tuition fees, and later, even gifts for his lover. As for me, it seemed I was automatically stripped of the right to be cherished or blessed. Brother Lin. My voice caught in my throat. Don't overthink it. Zhao Lin gently placed the red envelope in my hand. Have a good new year. If you're free, you can come to the company. The heating is on. It's warmer than the dormitory. You can read a book. Or do whatever you want. Of course, I don't mind if you want to work. I couldn't help but smile, though my eyes were slightly moist. Okay. Thank you, Lin. Go on. It's cold outside. I pushed open the car door. And the cold wind blew against my face, carrying a biting chill. I hugged the backpack containing the red envelope and that fountain pen tightly, then glanced back. Zhao Lin's car was still parked in the same spot, under the dim glow of the street lights. The car window was rolled halfway down. He gave me a slight nod, and only then did the car slowly drive away, merging into the sparse traffic on the eve of the Lunar New Year. Returning to the empty dormitory, I carefully opened the red envelope. Inside was a stack of brand new 100 yuan bills. I counted them, a full 1,000 yuan. This is way too much. There was also a small card in the red envelope, with Zhao Lin's neat and sharp handwriting. Midsummer. Happy New Year. May the road ahead be smooth, and may all your wishes come true. There was no signature. I rubbed the edge of the card, and the vague, indescribable feeling in my heart slowly settled, transforming into a warm, solid strength. 12. On New Year's Eve. The deafening sound of firecrackers outside the window made the indoors seem even quieter. Mom called. The background noise was chaotic, mixed with the playful sounds of my younger siblings and the noise from the TV program. Xia xia. Have you eaten dumplings? Yes. I have. Oh. It must be lonely being alone at school, right? It's lively here at home. Your brother insists on setting off firecrackers, and your sister is fighting over the remote control. If only you were here. You could give me a hand. There was a deliberate crafted liveliness in her tone, along with a subtle, perhaps even unnoticed by herself, hint of pride. Look, how warm and united we are here, while you, the one left out. Yeah. As long as you're having fun, I said calmly. My mother seemed momentarily taken aback by my calmness, pausing before her voice dropped. Xia, are you still mad at Mom? I was just anxious that day. And I spoke too harshly. Mom doesn't have much education, doesn't know how to talk proper line and take it to heart. The money you sent, I've received it and saved it for you, to use as your dowry someday. Mom, I interrupted. That money was for you to buy New Year's goods and live on. No need to save it. I'm doing fine here. Don't worry. Happy New Year. Please give my regards to Dad and my younger siblings. After saying that, I ended the call myself, putting down the receiver. The faint loneliness that had arisen from the New Year's Eve moment actually dissipated. Some warmth is false prosperity. Some loneliness is a choice. That red envelope lay quietly under my pillow. I took out the greeting card and ran my fingers over the handwriting. What is he doing? Is he reuniting with his family? Is he happy? Will he also be excluded by others? His handwriting with the pen is really beautiful. He must have practiced calligraphy. Pen writing. Pen. Wait. Where did that pen go? I searched everywhere in the table, under the bed, in my pockets, but it was nowhere to be found. It must have been left at the office. I glanced at the clock. It was already 9. I'll look for it tomorrow. I sat on the bed and flipped through a book for a while. My mind was too chaotic to focus on anything. What if someone else picks it up when I go look for it tomorrow? No. Who would go to the company on the first day of the new year? After 10 minutes, I sighed in resignation. I grabbed a flashlight, got dressed, and went downstairs. The cold wind cut across my face like a knife. The street was empty, with hardly any pedestrians. Reason told me it was just a pen lost. It's lost. Zhao Lin wouldn't care, and I could buy another one. But my heart felt like a cat's claws scratching inside. That pen was different. If I didn't go, what I might lose wasn't just a pen. I climbed the stairs with a flashlight, fumbling around for a long time, and finally retrieved the pen from under the desk. I felt a weight lift off my chest. As I was about to leave, closing the door, I suddenly noticed a faint light coming from the crack of another room's door. This is Zhao Lin's office. Why is he here too? Hesitating for a moment, I knocked on the door. Brother Lin, are you there? No one responded. I knocked twice more. Lin Gu. Inside the door, there was complete silence. My heart raced, and I suddenly pushed the door open. Zhao Lin was lying on his side on the floor, his face pale and his lips blue. Lin Gu. Zhao Lin. I rushed forward, my fingertips brushing the side of his neck. His pulse was weak but still beating. A muffled groan escaped his throat. His eyelids fluttered a few times, and he managed to open them just a crack. His gaze unfocused, barely able to focus. I grabbed the phone on the table and called the emergency center. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. The doctor is coming right away. Just hold on. The siren of the ambulance tore through the silence of New Year's Eve. In the hospital corridor, the smell of disinfectant was sharp and pungent. I sat on the bench outside the emergency room, my hands and feet icy cold, unconsciously rubbing the pen in my pocket. Where are the patient's family members? The nurse hurried out. I'm his friend. His family can't be reached for now. I quickly stood up. How is he? Acute severe allergic reaction with laryngeal edema. The situation is critical. But fortunately he was brought in promptly. Allergy. What is he allergic to? I asked urgently. Preliminary assessment suggests peanuts. The nurse spoke rapidly. Peanuts. Fragments of memory flashed through my mind. When we ate together, Zhao Lin never seemed to touch any dishes related to peanuts. Jiang Mingzhu also mentioned once that her cousin couldn't have peanuts since childhood, and even the smell made him uncomfortable. It's peanuts. I immediately confirmed. He's allergic to peanuts. The nurse nodded. All right. We understand. The doctor is handling it now. Please go and complete the formalities first. And pay the fees. I took the documents, my palms drenched in cold sweat. The red light in the emergency room shone blindingly bright, like a knife hanging overhead. I couldn't bear to imagine what would have happened if I hadn't returned to the company tonight because of that pen. If he had collapsed alone in the empty office building on New Year's Eve. A chilling thought struck my last life. Zhao Lin probably didn't survive this New Year's Eve. That's why later, when Mingzhu was left utterly alone, after her parents suddenly passed away, she had to face her husband and mistress, who were like wolves, and ultimately met her downfall. My chest felt as though it had been struck by a heavy hammer, the dull pain almost making it impossible to breathe. It turns out, I changed not only my own fate. 13. The door to the emergency room opened. The doctor walked out, took off his mask. His face weary. Doctor, how is he? The delivery was timely. His vital signs are now stable. He's been moved to the observation room for one more night. If there are no issues tomorrow, he can be transferred to a general ward. My tense nerves suddenly relaxed. My legs went weak, and I nearly lost my balance. Quickly grabbing the wall for support. Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Are you a family member? The patient is highly allergic to peanuts, although the amount ingested this time wasn't large. The reaction was severe. You must be extremely careful in the future. Absolutely avoid anything containing peanuts or peanut products. I nodded vigorously. I've remembered. Thank you. Zhao Lin was transferred to the observation room. He hadn't woken up yet. His face appearing unusually pale under the light, with faint dark circles under his eyes. I pulled over a chair, sat by the bedside, and quietly watched him, shedding his usual gentle composure and the unreadable demeanor of the business world. He now appeared exceptionally frail and vulnerable. His breathing was shallow, and his brow was slightly furrowed, as if he was sleeping restlessly. I noticed a faint, faded white scar on the inner side of his left wrist, where he often wore a watch. As if it had been left there long ago, my heart felt as if it had been lightly pricked by something. After an unknown amount of time, sporadic firecrackers welcoming the new year sounded outside the window, distant, muffled, like echoes from another world. Zhao Lin on the bed fluttered his eyelashes a few times and slowly opened his eyes. At first, the gaze was vacant, but after a few seconds, the focus gradually sharpened and settled on me, who was waiting by the bedside. He seemed somewhat confused, opening his mouth but making no sound, only swallowing dryly, his brow furrowing more tightly in discomfort. Lin Gu, you're awake. I quickly leaned forward, keeping my voice extremely soft. Don't rush to speak, your throat swelling has just subsided, and it might still be a bit painful. He blinked, his gaze slowly sweeping over the surrounding snow-white walls and cold instruments before finally settling back on my face, carrying a silent inquiry. You fainted at the company. It was an acute peanut allergy. You're fine now. Just under observation at the hospital. Thank you. He finally uttered a hoarse, faint voice, the two words spoken with unusual difficulty. Don't speak. The doctor said you need rest and should talk as little as possible. Zhao Lin obediently closed his mouth, just quietly watching me with those eyes that appeared especially deep and profound due to his weakness. A small firework burst open outside the window, its fleeting light reflected in his eyes, brightening for a moment before fading away. I poured him some warm water and gently moistened his dry lips with a cotton swab. His gaze flickered slightly, as if he wanted to say something, but he swallowed it back, closed his eyes, yet his eyelashes still trembled faintly. Clearly not asleep, just exhausted. He slept restlessly, occasionally raising his hand unconsciously to touch his throat. His brow furrowed tightly. I softly soothed him, or held his forehand, afraid he'd move and dislodge the needle. When the first grayish light of dawn seeped through the curtains, the nurse came in to check on him. Zhao Lin also woke up, looking somewhat better, though his complexion remained pale. His eyes much clearer now. No major issues. Just observe for another half day, and you can be transferred to a general ward this afternoon. The nurse recorded the data. You must be extremely careful in the future. Your allergy is no joke. Zhao Lin nodded, looking at me with apology and gratitude in his eyes. Thank you for staying with me all night. I'm fine. I shook my head, But you, how could you have eaten peanuts? Zhao Lin fell silent for a few seconds before speaking slowly. His voice still hoarse. Yesterday, my father asked me to join the New Year's Eve dinner. I felt a bit suffocated, so I left early. He gave me a pack of snacks, saying they were hazelnut pastries. I didn't pay attention, and took just one bite. He spoke very calmly, but I could hear the undercurrent beneath that calmness. As a father, didn't he know his son was allergic to peanuts? If he knew, why didn't he check to see if there were peanuts in the dessert? This oversight was far too careless. 2. Chilling. I remembered the old scar on his wrist from last night, and my heart tightened slightly. Have you been like this before? Zhao Lin followed my gaze to his own wrist, his expression unchanged as he gently pulled down his sleeve to cover the mark. Once when I was a child. But it wasn't as serious as this time. He paused, his tone even carrying a hint of barely noticeable self-mockery. This scar was left from back then. I didn't know what to say. Words of comfort felt hollow. Brother Lin, in the future, if you don't want to go, you don't have to force yourself. Zhao Lin looked up at me, his gaze deep. After a long moment, the corner of his lips curved ever so slightly. The smile was faint, yet it seemed to dispel some of the gloom between his brows. He responded softly. 14. On the morning of the second day of the Lunar New Year, after the doctor's examination confirmed that Zhao Lin's condition was stable, he was transferred to a general ward. I went out to buy some light porridge and side dishes. When I returned, I saw Zhao Lin leaning halfway against the headboard, staring blankly out the window. The sunlight fell on his pale face, giving it a transparent, fragile quality. Lin Gu, have something to eat. He snapped back to reality, taking the bowl of porridge I offered. His fingers accidentally brushed against mine. Cold as ice. Why are your hands so cold? I asked instinctively. It's nothing. Old habit, he replied, scooping a spoonful of porridge and eating slowly. His movements refined, but clearly lacking appetite. Last night. Thank you so much. He put down his spoon and looked up at me, his gaze returning to its usual clarity, though a faint shadow of relief lingered deep within. I'll take care of the medical expenses later. The ward door opened, and a well-dressed middle-aged man, somewhat resembling Zhao Lin, walked in, followed by a gentle-looking woman. Were they Zhao Lin's parents? The man glanced at me, his brow furrowing almost imperceptibly. His eyes swept over Zhao Lin, who was sleeping in the bed, then settled on me with a scrutinizing look. Who are you? I stood up, but before I could respond, Zhao Lin on the bed composed himself. Dad. Aunt Lin. It turned out the woman wasn't his mother. Zhao's father took a few steps closer, his face darkening. Peanut allergy. Again because of peanuts. How careless can you be? There wasn't much concern in those words. More like blame and an impatience that said, "You've caused me trouble again." Zhao Lin tugged at the corner of his mouth but said nothing. Aunt Lin, standing nearby, gently tugged at Father Zhao's sleeve and spoke softly. Zhao Lin, how are you feeling now? Your dad was just worried about you. He rushed over as soon as he heard. As for those snacks yesterday, it's all my fault for not checking the ingredients carefully. It's not your fault. Father Zhao interrupted her. He should have been more careful himself. Zhao's father looked down at him and admonished. You're a grown adult now. Don't you know your own physical condition? Don't you know to check before you eat? You always make people worry. Zhao Lin lowered his gaze, his long eyelashes casting a small shadow on his pale face, concealing the emotions in his eyes. Watching this scene, I felt an inexplicable tightness in my chest. This was his family, when he had just returned from the brink of death. Lying weakly in the hospital bed, there was no lingering fear, no relief, only blame and so-called concern. Aunt Lin seemed to sense the awkward atmosphere and took out a thermal flask from her handbag. Zhao Lin, I made some soup for you. Have some while it's hot. No need. Aunt Lin, I just ate and don't have an appetite. Zhao Lin politely declined. Look at you, always like this. Zhao's father tried to say something more. Dad. Zhao Lin looked up. His gaze calm as he met his father's eyes. I'm tired and want to rest. You all go back to your work. I'm fine here. Someone's taking care of me. Zhao's father looked slightly embarrassed, but ultimately said nothing more. Aunt Lin put down the thermos, said a few more words about taking care of himself, then pulled the displeased Zhao's father away. The ward door closed, cutting off the outside world. Zhao Lin closed his eyes again, his chest rising and falling slightly, his breathing heavier than before. Lin Gu. I poured a cup of warm water and handed it to him. Have some water. He opened his eyes, took the cup, his fingertips still cold. Sorry for making you see this, he said softly. No. I shook my head. I understand. He glanced at me. After a long pause, he spoke slowly, his voice carrying a barely noticeable weariness. Sometimes I feel that blood relation is the most unreasonable thing. It gives you a nominal family, yet it seems never truly accepts you. The loneliness in his words was so heavy it made my chest ache. I recalled my lonely self from a past life, dying alone. Brother Lin, I said softly. Grandpa was right. First, live your life clearly and fully. Only when you have the strength should you deal with those complicated relationships. At least, you're not alone now. His fingers gripping the water cup tightened slightly as he looked up at me. Sunlight streamed through the window, casting tiny specks of light in his eyes. He murmured softly, finally lifting the corner of his lips into a genuine, tiny smile. Thank you. Should we tell Mingzhu about it? Zhao Lin shook his head. No need. It's the new year. Don't scare her. Let's wait until I'm better and out of the hospital. It's not too late to tell her then. He paused, looking at me. These few days, you might have to stay a little longer. If you have other things to do, don't force yourself. I can. I'm fine, I said immediately. I'll stay. He lowered his head, gently curving his lips, saying no more polite words. In the afternoon, Zhao Lin turned to look at the bleak winter scenery outside. Sunlight filtered through the slats of the blinds, casting alternating bands of light and shadow on the white sheets. He was like a trapped beast in a cage, quietly licking his wounds. My eyes welled up, and I softly called out, Brother Lin. He turned his head to look at me. The medical expenses you mentioned earlier. He tugged at his pale lips. After I'm discharged, I'll pay you back double. No need to give it. I interrupted him. I wasn't the one who saved you. Zhao Lin looked at me with confusion. I pulled the pen and the flat red envelope from my pocket. I went back to the company to find the pen you gave me. The medical expenses were the New Year's money you gave me. Zhao Lin. It was you who gave me warmth and hope, giving yourself a second life. The one who saved you was you yourself. Zhao Lin stared at me in silence, his clear eyes gradually filling with a faint sheen of moisture. He turned his head away, awkwardly avoiding my gaze. Sunlight slanted across his profile, a tiny droplet of moisture clinging to the tip of his trembling eyelashes. But he quickly closed his eyes, his Adam's apple moving with difficulty. When he opened them again, his eyes were calm, like a still lake. Midsummer, when I'm discharged from the hospital, shall we go see the plum blossoms? Okay. I looked at his pale profile and replied softly. 15. On the day Zhao Lin was discharged, Jiang Mingzhu found out about it. She immediately came over with her mother, Xiao Lin. Ms. Zhao, Jiang Mingzhu's mother, appeared sharp and capable. Why didn't you tell me about such a big thing? How did you get an allergic reaction? Where are your parents? Have they come? Zhao Lin smiled helplessly. Auntie, don't worry. I'm fine now. How can this be called fine? You almost died. Do you know that? If it weren't for Xingxia discovering it in time, you would have died on the last day of the year. Ms. Zhao was so angry that her whole body trembled. What? Are they planning to use your last main dish from that night's dinner to choke their own family to death? Zhao Lin was momentarily stunned, then helplessly rubbed his forehead. Aunt. Jiang Mingzhu's mother. Zhao Lin's aunt. Ms. Zhao Minghua, however, had red eyes. She stepped forward and hugged her nephew tightly, her voice choked with emotion. You child, you've always been so stubborn. They don't treat you seriously. So why don't you just stay away? Why must you keep rushing into trouble? When something goes wrong, who will care? It'll be me. Your aunt, who'll be worried to death. Zhao Lin's body stiffened slightly, then gradually relaxed as he returned his aunt's embrace, murmuring softly, I understand, Aunt. It won't happen again. Next time, Ms. Zhao raised her voice. No, next time. I promise. Zhao Lin's confident demeanor slightly quelled Ms. Zhao's anger. She turned to me, her gaze immediately softening with gratitude. You must be Xingxia. What a good child. I really can't thank you enough this time. Mingzhu talks about you every day at home, saying you're smart and sensible, even better than herself. I truly don't know how to thank you enough this time. Auntie, you're too kind. It was just a coincidence. I quickly replied. What a coincidence. This is fate. And it's also because you're such a thoughtful child. Mrs. Zhao Minghua took my hand without hesitation. Come on. Let's go home with Auntie. I'll cook for you myself, make you a good meal, and also help calm our little Lin's nerves and nourish his body. So, after being discharged from the hospital, Zhao Lin and I were half escorted back to the Jiang family by Jiang Mingzhu and her mother. After the meal, I patted my full stomach and politely declined Ms. Zhao's invitation to stay overnight. Before leaving, I looked at Zhao Lin, who was also holding his stomach, and quietly sighed to myself. Ms. Zhao is truly a master at raising pigs. After returning home, my mother called again, her tone faintly tinged with anger. Xingxia, not coming home during the new year, what exactly are you messing around with outside? I felt utterly bewildered. What are you talking about? I told you to work. What work? What work? Mother's voice suddenly turned sharp, cutting through the receiver. Someone saw you. They said they saw you with a man at the hospital on New Year's Day. Just the two of you. A man and a woman. What do you think you're doing? Don't you have any shame? You've completely disgraced your father and me. Qing Xian's voice came from the other end. Sister, how could you do something like this? No wonder you don't buy us anything. Did you spend all your money on some stranger? That's right, big sister. I'm your own little brother. I've been eyeing those sneakers for ages. I don't care whether you spend money on someone else. You have to spend it on me. My fingers tightened around the phone receiver, the knuckles turning white. Mom. My voice was unusually calm, so calm it even sounded foreign to me. That man is my boss. I was returning something to the office when I found him collapsed, nearly dead. I called the ambulance, took him to the hospital, and stayed by his side all night. Is this what you mean by fooling around and shameless? The line fell silent instantly on the other end. Only heavy and unsteady breathing could be heard. After several seconds, my mother's voice sounded again, noticeably weaker but still carrying a forced tone of accusation. Then why didn't you say so earlier? A young woman like you, spending the night with a man, how would that sound if word got out? Your boss. Is he all right? Who paid the medical expenses? Did he thank you? I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. Who told you about these things? My mother stammered. It's a man who said he's your senior brother. He saw you at the hospital and came to check on you. Senior brother. Could it be Qin Ji? Qing Xian snatched the phone. Sis. What's your relationship with this senior brother? He just showed up at our house out of nowhere with gifts to visit Mom and Dad. Are you dating him? Mom said you abandoned your family for some boss. But I think it's not about the boss, it's about the senior brother. Right? You're playing both sides. And you've got him so infatuated that he even chased you to our house during the new year. Qing Xian. I snapped, cutting her off. What nonsense are you talking about? How could I be talking nonsense? Brother Chen said it himself. He said you've changed a lot lately, getting very close to some men from society. He was worried you might go astray. And since he couldn't reach you, he came to the house to ask about you. He brought so many things: cigarettes, alcohol, fruit, and even skincare products for me. How thoughtful he is. Ching Xin's tone carried a twisted excitement, as if she had caught me in some major wrongdoing. Sis, you're really something. Usually acting all aloof and quiet, but you've got quite a few tricks up your sleeve. I was trembling with anger. Not just because of Xing Xin's slander, but because of Qin Ji's relentless and despicable tactics. 16. I said coldly. Xing Xin, listen carefully. Helping outsiders belittle your own sister won't make you look any nobler, it just makes people look down on you even more. What are you talking about? It's clearly you who's being improper. Give the phone to Mom. I raised my voice. Otherwise, I'll tell the whole family about you having a boyfriend outside. Xing Xin secretly had a boyfriend in high school, and I found out about it. At the time, she was so frightened that her face turned pale, begging me not to tell the family. The line went silent for a moment. Then my mother's confused voice came through. Xin. What boyfriend? I heard Xing Xin hastily snatch the phone. Mom, don't listen to her nonsense. Sister. You've gone too far. Give the phone to Mom. I repeated, my voice cold and sharp. A few seconds later, my mother's voice returned, hesitant and increasingly uncertain. Xia, is what Xin said true? Anne, what exactly did you mean earlier? That Senior Chen. What did he say? Mom. I interrupted her, speaking each word clearly and slowly. Qin Ji is my senior from university. I clearly rejected his advances. Now he's using these tactics. Spreading rumors. Coming to our home to sow discord. Oh, you really think he cares about me? He's trying to force me into submission. I paused, feeling a deep weariness. Also, Xing Xin and Xing Wei are both 20 years old. Not children anymore. Someone brings a few gifts and says some nice words, and they're ready to throw mud at their own sister. Mom. Is this the fine son and daughter you've raised? You. How can you say that about your brother and sister? My mother's voice rose again, tinged with the shame of being exposed. They're just worried about you. If you were truly upright and honest, what could others say? Why would Qin Ji come after you and not someone else? It must be because there's something wrong with you. There it is again. It's always my fault. Others' malice stems from my impropriety. And family's harm comes from my failure to do well. The chill in my chest spread to every limb and bone. Mom, since you think I have so many problems, from now on, you and my siblings don't need to worry about my affairs anymore. You live your lives well. And I'll live mine. I'll pay back every penny I've spent from the family. And aside from that, let's not stay in touch. Summer, what kind of talk is this? I'm your mother. Mother screamed on the other end of the phone. Precisely because you are my mother, I said softly and hung up the phone. I leaned against the cold wall and slowly slid down to sit on the floor. There was no expected heart-wrenching pain, only a dull numbness and the exhaustion that comes after everything has settled. It's fine. This cut had to come eventually. The sooner, the faster the wound might heal. 17. No way. How could Qin Ji find my home, in my previous life? He only went to my house after we got married. How could he know where my house is? I suddenly remembered him saying he was saving money, and that if I needed money, he could give it to me. Why was he so certain I would need money, in my previous life at this time? He didn't have much money at all, his earnings were all sent home. Could it be that he also reincarnated? The thought sent a chill through my entire body. If Qin Ji had also been reborn, then all his unusual actions would have a reasonable explanation. He knew my weakness too well. The longing for family ties would become the chain binding me. So he started from my family. I tugged at the corner of my mouth with a cold laugh. Sure enough, a despicable person remains the same no matter how many times they're given a second chance. I flipped through the passbook, the numbers on it representing the money I'd painstakingly saved over the past few months, though it still wasn't enough to cover the full cost of my mother's surgery. It was already a substantial sum enough to give me the confidence to say no, and I still had a few months to prepare. I will never again put myself in a position of isolation, forced to beg for help. As for Chinji, my gaze turned cold. He wants to play, so I'll play with him. The day before school started, Zhao Lin invited me and Jiang Mingzhu to dinner, saying it was to formally thank me for saving his life. The location was chosen at a private kitchen restaurant, with a quiet and serene environment. Zhao Lin looked much better, wearing a simple light-colored sweater with a dark coat over it. He was still as handsome as ever, but the faint sense of detachment that used to linger between his brows seemed to have faded a bit. When he looked at people, his gaze was gentler and more focused. Take a look and see what you'd like to eat. He pushed the menu toward me first. Jiang Mingzhu leaned in. I want to eat this. And this too. Cousin is treating, so I have to take full advantage. Zhao Lin gave her a helpless glance, but there was a tolerant smile in his eyes. After ordering, he looked at me. You don't look too well. Are you feeling sick? It's nothing. Maybe I just haven't had much of an appetite lately. I paused for a moment before speaking up. Brother Lin, there's something I probably need to tell you. Go ahead. My family might be in a bit of trouble. I briefly explained Chinji's visit to my home and the potential rumors that might arise. I left out the speculation about reincarnation, only mentioning that he might have turned resentful after being rejected, and that his methods weren't exactly honorable. Jiang Mingzhu was so angry she gritted her teeth. This Chinji is really disgusting. Can't get her way, so she starts spreading rumors, and even comes to your home. Is this something a person would do? Jiang Mingzhu rolled up her sleeves. Qingxia, don't be afraid. If he dares to cause trouble, I'll rip his mouth apart. After hearing this, Zhao Lin asked directly, do you need help? I shook my head. Not for now. I can handle it. It's just that Chinji's methods are so low. I'm afraid I might drag you into this. Zhao Lin's face showed no expression. Just then, the dishes were served. He picked up a piece of fish for me. Let's eat first. This steamed fish is their signature dish. Give it a try. All right. Thank you, Brother Lin. Zhao Lin paused his hand while picking up food, saying nothing. After the meal, he sent us back to school. When the car stopped at the school gate, he gave Jiang Mingzhu a subtle glance. Jiang Mingzhu blinked and jumped out of the car first. You guys talk. I'll go in first. 18. Only Zhao Lin and I were left in the car. He didn't say anything, just slightly turned his body, his gaze falling on my face. The look wasn't as gentle as usual, carrying a quiet intensity, as if he were carefully examining something. I felt slightly uncomfortable under his stare, and my fingertips curled unconsciously. Lin, is there anything else? I broke the silence. Zhao Lin withdrew his gaze and turned to look at the dimly lit corridor ahead, illuminated by the street lights. His slender fingers tapped lightly on the steering wheel. Qingxia, he began, his voice lower than usual, sounding clear in the confined space. You just said you were afraid of dragging me into this. I nodded blankly. In the height of summer, in your eyes, what kind of person am I? A superior who can only accept the benefits you bring, but cannot share even a fraction of the risks. Zhao Lin looked at me, his tone tinged with irritation, even a vague sense of grievance. My voice was barely audible. I didn't mean it that way. Then what did you mean? Zhao Lin's gaze returned to my face, no longer gentle or yielding, but instead carrying an almost piercing intensity. Do you think that me buying you clothes, giving you a pen, giving you New Year's money, and even just now at the dinner table serving you photo, you think all of that is just a boss taking care of an employee, or a gesture of goodwill because of Mingzhu? My heart suddenly skipped a beat, and my fingers unconsciously tightened around the hem of my clothes. Qingxia. He interrupted me, his voice lowering but becoming clearer and more forceful, like a babbling brook crashing against rocks. I'm 27 this year, not 17. I know what I'm doing, and I know what I want. He paused for a moment, as if weighing his words. Or perhaps gathering the courage to break through the soil. I admit, at first, I noticed you because Mingzhu often mentioned you, saying you were smart and hardworking. So independent it was almost heartbreaking. Later, when I saw the materials you translated clear, logical, with sharp insights, even catching risks that seasoned employees might overlook, I truly admired your abilities. Then, as I watched you, you reminded me of a sprout breaking through the soil, desperately taking root, striving to break free from constraints, stretching toward the warm sun and swaying in the breeze. By midsummer, I couldn't look away. His gaze was intense, burning with a warmth that surged through my heart. I'm not made of wood. I can tell the difference between admiration, sympathy, and a flutter of the heart. When I woke up in the hospital and saw you, it was the first time in my life I thought New Year's Eve wasn't so bad. I thought, I'd like to spend every year with you. You say I gave you warmth and hope, but in truth, it was you who gave me faith and strength. Occasional passers-by outside the car window cast flickering light and shadow across his refined profile. In the height of summer, we are each other's support. There has never been any talk of burden. And there is no need to bring it up again in the future. Zhao Lin. I opened my mouth, only to find my throat dry, unable to form a complete sound. Zhao Lin's words were like an unexpected spring flood, instantly overwhelming the banks of my reason. A surge of scalding, unfamiliar emotions welled up in my chest, washing away the coldness of my past life and the confusion of this moment, leaving everything on the verge of collapse. He looked at my bewildered expression, the sharpness in his eyes gradually softening, once again veiled by his usual gentleness. You don't have to answer me now. He softened his tone. I was too hasty. It's just, I don't want things between us to be so polite. His slender fingers lightly tapped the steering wheel, an unconscious little gesture that betrayed his inner turmoil, revealing he wasn't as calm as he appeared. You don't have to face Qinji alone. If necessary, I can have a lawyer handle the defamation and harassment. As for your family, he paused for a moment, as if searching for more appropriate words. Whatever decision you make, I'm on your side. I understood what he meant. No matter what, he would be where I could see him if I turned around. Such a promise holds more power than mere comfort. Thank you, Brother Lin. I finally found my voice again, though it was still a bit hoarse. I need some time. I need time to process this sudden affection. And even more time to sort out the tangled mess in my heart. The wounds from my past life run too deep. I had almost forgotten how to trust an intimate relationship. And I couldn't believe that someone as wonderful as Zhao Lin could ever belong to me. Of course. Zhao Lin nodded, smoothly changing the subject as if the person who had been pressing step by step just moments ago wasn't him. School starts tomorrow. There's no rush with the company matters. Take care of your school affairs first. Feel free to reach out anytime if you need anything. He got out of the car, walked around to my side, and opened the door for me. The early spring night wind still carried a biting chill. Instinctively, he turned slightly to shield me from the breeze. Go on in and get some rest. I walked a few steps away but couldn't help looking back. He was still standing by the car, the streetlight stretching his tall figure into a long shadow. Seeing me turn back, he waved, the smile at the corner of his mouth exceptionally clear in the night. Back at the dorm, Jiang Mingzhu immediately leaned in like a puppy catching the scent of gossip, her eyes shining brightly. Xingxia, my cousin, did he confess to you? My cheeks flushed with warmth as I mumbled. Don't talk nonsense. I'm not talking nonsense. Jiang Mingzhu lowered her voice excitedly. He sent you away to talk to you alone. And he was so serious. I've never seen him with that expression before. Come on, tell me. What did he actually say? I had no choice but to give in to her persistence and briefly explained part of it. After hearing this, Jiang Mingzhu slapped her thigh and exclaimed, I knew it. My cousin may seem gentle and easygoing, but he's actually very determined. Once he's made up his mind, even 10 oxen couldn't pull him back. Xingxia, my cousin is 10,000 times better than that Qinji. No, there's simply no comparison. Qinji isn't even fit to carry his shoes. She grew more and more excited as she spoke. As if she were the one who had been confessed to. You have to say yes. You absolutely must. Don't let the good stuff go to outsiders. I couldn't help but laugh at her enthusiasm, and the tangled mess of emotions in my heart eased up a bit. It's not that simple. Mingzhu. I'm not ready yet. Jiang Mingzhu fell silent, carefully studying my expression, and for once spoke seriously. Qinxia, I know there's something on your mind, but my cousin is different, truly good. And the way he looks at you. She paused, searching for the right words. It's like how Grandpa used to look at Grandma once he's decided. It's for life. For life. That word sent a shiver through my heart. I'll think about it seriously. I held Jiang Mingzhu's hand. Thank you, Mingzhu. 19. After school started, I fell into a busy and hectic routine. My mother called me again, her tone much softer this time. She didn't mention Qinji or those harsh words anymore, just chattering about household matters, saying my father had been having back pain, that my younger siblings needed to retake their exams, and that the family needed money. Listening to the cautious flattery and undeniable exhaustion in her voice, my heart felt suspended in lukewarm water, neither sinking nor rising. What do you want? Should I cover everything? There was a brief silence on the other end of the line. Xia, you've worked under that big boss for so long. You must have saved up a bit. Mom really has no other choice. Your dad is in so much pain he can't even get out of bed. And if your younger siblings don't get into college, their lives will be ruined. I have no money. I need to live too. I need to eat. I have no money to give you. What did you say? Mother's voice suddenly rose, sharp and piercing. Qinxia, I am your mother. I gave birth to you and raised you. And now that you have grown wings and have money, you don't want to take care of the family anymore. Do you still have a conscience? It's always like this. No matter how much I give, as long as I refuse once, everything I've done before is erased, and I become heartless and ungrateful. Mom, the last time I mentioned it, I asked you to calculate how much money I've spent on the family over the years. Have you figured it out yet? Her mother's sobbing was abruptly cut off. Xia, what do you mean? Are you trying to sever ties with the family? Do you think such a family, such relatives, are even worth my attachment anymore? If you want money from me, fine, calculate the amount, and I'll pay you back in installments. From now on, I'll have no further connection with this family. On the other end of the phone came the sound of my mother's hurried panting. You're insane. You're trying to drive me to my death. I raised you for over 20 years. And this is what I get in return. My mother's tearful scolding followed, filled with desperate anger. Fine. I'll calculate it for you, starting from the first sip of milk you drank when you were born. Let's see if you can ever repay it in this lifetime. There's no need to calculate the cost of breast milk. I remained calm. You yourself said that you had no milk when I was born, and I grew up drinking rice porridge. Let's start from when I began primary school tuition, textbook fees, basic living expenses. As for the rest, like how I started working part-time to support myself from the third year of junior high, and how I relied on student loans and part-time jobs during high school and university, those don't need to be counted. Is that clear enough? My mother seemed strangled, left only with heavy, choked breaths. Mom. I softened my tone, but each word was clear. I'm not being unfilial. I just want to live like a human being first. These years, I've been too tired. From now on, let Xinxin and Xingwei walk their own paths. As for Dad's illness, he should see doctors and take medicine as needed. I'll cover part of the medical expenses if I can. But that's all. After saying that, I didn't wait for her response and hung up the phone. Fingertips cold, yet an oddly scalding warmth surged in my chest, dispelling the long-held suffocation. Turns out, saying no wasn't as hard as I imagined. Turns out, drawing a clear line felt like a painful clarity and relief. In the days that followed, I focused on my studies and the work at Zhao Lin's company. Qinji, as expected. Did not let it go. He started appearing frequently within my range outside the library, at the foot of the dormitory, even on my way to my part-time job. He no longer expressed his feelings as passionately as before, instead adopting a look of deep distress. As if he wanted to say something but held back. Qingxia, can we talk? Just for 5 minutes. He stopped me, his brows furrowed, his eyes filled with concern. I know your family is going through a tough time right now, and you're under a lot of pressure. But you can't go down the wrong path. Do you even know what kind of person Zhao Lin is? The people in society are complicated. What does he want from helping you? You're still young, didn't get taken advantage of. I stopped in my tracks, looking at him coldly. Qinji, first, my family matters are none of your business. Second, who I associate with is my freedom. Third, if you continue to harass me like this, I will call the police. Call the police. Qinji seemed to have heard something laughable, then put on a concerned expression again. Qingxia, how have you become like this? I'm doing this for your own good. You weren't like this before. Is it that Zhao Lin? Enough. I sharply interrupted him. Qinji, put away your tricks. Do you think that if we start over, I would still foolishly let myself be bound by your kindness and jump into the fire like I did in my past life? Qinji's expression instantly froze, his pupils sharply contracting. Shock and disbelief were clearly written on his face, even carrying a hint of barely noticeable fear. What did you say? His voice was dry as he took half a step back. It seems I guessed correctly. Watching his suddenly changed expression, the last trace of doubt in my heart vanished. Indeed. He has returned as well. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I took a step closer, lowering my voice, my gaze as cold as ice, rolling into bed with my sister. Qinji, even more disgusting than a rat in the gutter. Qinji's face turned completely pale, his lips trembling. The feigned affection and concern vanished instantly, leaving only the panic of being exposed and a hint of dark, resentful anger. In the height of summer, you, listen to me. What is there to say? I sneered. Just looking at you dirties my eyes. I walked past him and left without looking back. Behind me, Qinji stood frozen in place, not chasing after me. 20. It wasn't until May that my mother didn't call again. Even Qinji suddenly disappeared. I suppose he finally realized that I, reborn, could never have anything to do with him again, so he gave up pursuing me. Jiang Mingzhu changed her usual carefree nature, going out early and returning late every day. Unknown what she was busy with. I felt a bit uneasy. Could she have run into that scumbag from her past life again? One night, when she came back, her eyes were red and swollen again. She wouldn't answer any questions, just said she wanted some peace and quiet. Early the next morning, my face was pale and my eyes were swollen. Standing by my bed, she was unusually energetic. I jumped in shock. Oh my god. Did she eat something she shouldn't have? Xiongming, what's wrong with you? Are you feeling unwell? Come on. Let's go to the hospital. Jiang Mingzhu sat in front of me, her eyes shining. Qingxia, let's start a business together. How about we enter the cosmetics industry you've been planning for so long? I was stunned by her senseless words. Jiang Mingzhu continued. You told me about it. And you even showed me the proposal. There was such a thing. But why are you suddenly interested in this? What's been going on with you these past few days? Jiang Mingzhu suddenly became dejected. I met someone. Who? My heart suddenly tightened. His name is He Kitchen. A loud bang echoed in my mind. Wasn't he the husband from her past life? According to her, they met at a mall a year after graduation. How could this life have brought them together earlier? You two, are in a relationship. Not yet. He's pursuing me. He came to the school to deliver something for his sister, and we happened to meet. His sister is my friend. We've had a few meals together, and then he started pursuing me. He's been very kind and considerate to me, always taking care of me. He knew I had a headache, so he braved the heavy rain to buy medicine for me. He saved money to buy me the dresses I liked. And he even remembered my period and brought me brown sugar water. Jiang Mingzhu felt a bit shy. I grabbed her arm. Mingzhu. These are just appearances. Don't believe them so easily. I know. Jiang Mingzhu gently held my hand. I've already made it clear to him. And there won't be any further contact. I was completely confused. What was going on? How could Mingzhu have taken the initiative to cut ties with him? Understanding my confusion, Jiang Mingzhu continued. I also thought he was great. But yesterday, I saw a girl confessing her feelings to him. He could have just rejected her, but instead, he said her face was covered in acne scars like a rotten orange, and that her legs were short and thick. He made the poor girl cry on the spot. Jiang Mingzhu curled her lips, her eyes filled with undisguised disdain. He even said, if a girl can't even take care of her own face, who would like her? Qingxia, the words you said to me in the library immediately popped into my head. Find someone who is inherently good. He was good to me. But the way he was so mean and arrogant toward others was truly infuriating. I immediately rushed out and gave him a piece of my mind. Every bit of affection is precious. What kind of scoundrel dares to humiliate someone like that? The heavy stone in my heart fell with a thud. But I'm still really sad. I truly liked him. I was about to comfort her when Jiang Mingzhu patted my shoulder, her eyes blazing with intensity. Qingxia, after graduation, let's become partners. I have money. You have ideas. Let's work together. I want every girl to be beautiful and happy. She extended her hand toward me, her red, swollen eyes bright and confident. I slowly smiled and took her hand in return. I'm glad to work with you, Miss Jiang. 21. Mid-June. Xingwei found me and said his mother had been hospitalized. My heart raced. This time it was a month earlier than in my previous life. Hurrying to the hospital, my mother was wiping away tears. No. The surgery is too expensive. I won't treat it. Qing Xian stood by the hospital bed. When she saw me enter, her eyes flickered with a complex expression, carrying a barely noticeable hint of hostility, before she quickly lowered her gaze. Sister. You're here. Mother lifted her bloodshot eyes, saw me, and as if clutching at a lifeline, her voice grew even more tearful. Xia, the doctor says surgery is needed, and the surgery fee is so expensive. Where does our family have any money left? Your dad said he'd borrow money. But we still can't reach him. What are we going to do? He's not coming back. You've been with him for so many years, you should know him better than I do. Cowardly, incompetent, bullying at home, avoiding responsibility, lazy and greedy. Running away faster than anyone when something happens. He's afraid you'll hold him back, so he deliberately hides. Her mother's sobs abruptly stopped. Her face drained of color, leaving only the dull pallor of someone utterly abandoned. Qing Xian suddenly looked up, her voice sharp. Sister. How can you say that about Dad? I'm telling the truth. If you don't believe me, go find him and ask. Qing Xian felt a lump in her throat, her face turning pale and ashen. I walked to the bedside and glanced at the medical chart. What did the doctor say? When is the surgery? Xingwei huddled in the corner, muttering. The doctor said the sooner, the better. But the surgery, hospitalization, and medication will cost over 10,000. Our family doesn't have a single cent left. I have the money. I pulled an envelope from my bag. Mother stared at the envelope in disbelief, then looked at me, tears streaming down her face. Her eyes filled with shame, shock, and a complex, indescribable pain. Xia, where did you get so much money? I earned it myself. I said calmly. Mom, this money is for your treatment. Please use it with peace of mind. But I need to make something clear. I looked at my frail mother in the hospital bed and my siblings with varying expressions beside her, and spoke slowly and clearly. This money is the last time I will spend a large sum for family ties. From now on, Xingxin, Xingwei, Your lives, please take responsibility for yourselves. I will no longer pay a single cent for your tuition, living expenses, or wedding and house purchases. Ching Xian's face flushed red. Sis, what do you mean by that? Mom is still sick, and you're already in a hurry to cut ties. I'm not distancing myself. I'm drawing a clear boundary. I met her gaze and said, Mom gave birth to me, so I'll take care of her when she's sick. But you're both adults now. I'll pay for Mom's surgery, but you'll take turns caring for her afterward. If you think that's unfair, I'll take the money back now, and you can figure it out yourselves. Qing Wei panicked. No, sis. We'll take care of it. We definitely will. Qing Xian bit her lip. Her eyes filled with resentment. Yet she dared not say anything more. She knew that, aside from me, no one in the family could come up with that sum of money. Tears streamed down my mother's face as she reached out to pull me, her fingertips trembling. Xia, Mom has let you down. I avoided her hand. Take care of your treatment. I'll go pay the fees. The surgery went smoothly. When she woke up, she held my hand and said, Xia, Mom is sorry for dragging you down. Anne, and your younger siblings, they spoke to you like that last time. But they didn't mean it. Mom apologizes to you on their behalf. Please don't be angry. I let go of her hand. Mom, parents are unkind. Children are not harmonious. They bully me because you and Dad don't care about me at all. The mother froze in place. Xia, all right. You should rest and recover. I'm leaving. A few days later, my father showed up at the hospital. Qing Wei dodged, avoiding my gaze. I knew it was him who had tipped them off. My mother swung her arm wide and slapped my father across the face. You heartless old thing. From now on, I won't take care of you anymore. If you want to eat or drink, do it yourself. Father's eyes turned red with anger, and he raised his hand to charge forward. He was desperately held back by Qing Xian and Qing Wei. The four of them were tangled up in a fight. I had no interest in watching this farce any longer, so I turned and left. 21. After graduation, Jiang Mingzhu and I embarked on a bustling entrepreneurial venture. Jiang Mingzhu came from a wealthy family. She contributed her New Year's money and the pocket money she had saved since childhood, and also secured a sponsorship from her parents. We rented a small office space and established a tiny studio. Upon learning about it, Zhao Lin proactively took on the role of an assistant, handling tasks like commuting to and from work, delivering meals and fruits, and even occasionally helping with organizing documents and cleaning. Jiang Mingzhu often teased, TSK, cousin, if your employees saw you looking like such a virtuous housekeeper right now, their eyes would pop out of their heads. Zhao Lin was bent over, helping me organize a stack of product materials. Without looking up, he replied nonchalantly, in the early stages, logistical support is crucial. I hope Boss Shin can focus wholeheartedly on her work and achieve great success, so she can truly turn me into a virtuous housekeeper. My face flushed, and I turned my head to meet his clear, smiling eyes. My heart warmed. Mr. Zhao won't have to wait too long. This time, it was his turn to blush. Mingzhu stuffed oranges in her mouth and laughed heartily, relying on the experience accumulated from her previous life and her familiarity with the market. We developed rapidly. A year later, the studio had expanded into a company with a certain scale. The days that followed passed quickly, and before long, 5 years had gone by. For 5 years, I hadn't returned home except to send my mother her living expenses on time. Until one noon, Qing Xian called me, sobbing uncontrollably on the phone. Sister, I'm begging you. I'm sorry. Please help me. I can't go on living. Qinji, that bastard Qinji deceived me. Dad wants to kill me. I rubbed my temple, put down what I was doing, and decided to go back. Zhao Lin didn't feel at ease leaving me alone, so he sent his 1-year-old daughter to his aunt's house. Jiang Mingzhu looked at the 3 large bags of luggage, her mouth twitching. My cousins, Are you going out for just a few days? Not weeks or months. Do you really need to prepare so much for Choo-Choo? What do you know? You single person. Zhao Lin gently touched his daughter's soft, fair little face, carefully checking the comfort toy and small blanket she usually used in her bag. Choo-Choo isn't used to unfamiliar environments. So I brought something she's familiar with, things she usually uses and covers herself with to give her a sense of security. Jiang Mingzhu rolled her eyes dramatically and turned to me, winking and making faces. Look at him, does he even look like a CEO of a public company anymore? He's just a total daddy's girl and wife's slave. I smiled, feeling a warm glow in my heart. Over the past few years, Zhao Lin, with his gentle and unwavering presence, has gradually healed the wounds from my past life and eased the anxieties of this one. We got married and had a daughter, whom he named Zhao Yichu. He said that Zhao Lin and Xingxiao would always remain as close as they were at the beginning. Those cold and desperate days have truly become a distant, blurry nightmare. 22. When she returned, Qing Xian lay on the bed. Her face as pale as a ghost. Her father was pointing at her nose and shouting, "You shameless creature. You slut who throws yourself at men. That Qin guy doesn't even want you. Yet you still crawl into his bed. You've already had 3 children and still don't learn your lesson. This time, you're Donnie, no more children for you. I'll beat you to death. You shameless wretch." As he spoke, he began scanning the room for a stick. Her mother hurried forward to block him, but she was no match for her husband. "Xiao Wei, quickly stop your dad. He's going to beat your sister to death." Qing Wei stood aside, motionless. "Mom, she's done something like this, and the whole village knows about it. I'm too ashamed to even show my face outside. It would be better if Dad just killed her." Mother and Qing Xian stared in disbelief. Was this the son brother they had cherished and protected? "Dad." I let out a cry. Seeing me, my father froze mid-motion, his face turning red. He turned his pent-up anger toward me. "You still know how to come back. What are you here for? To watch the joke?" Mother, as if grasping at a lifeline, stumbled forward and grabbed my hand, tears streaming down her face. "Xia, you're finally back. Look at this. What kind of disaster has been made?" Qing Xian curled up on the bed, the blanket pulled up to her chin, revealing only a pair of swollen, hollow eyes filled with fear and despair. "What on earth happened? Are you with Qin Ji?" Upon hearing that name, Qing Xian trembled violently all over, tears silently pouring out. Yet she only bit her lips tightly, not making a single sound. Her mother cried, "That damned scoundrel. He deceived Xinxin for so many years, emptied all her savings, and even kept several mistresses outside. Xinxin had 3 miscarriages for him, and this time the doctor said her uterus was too severely damaged. She won't be able to conceive anymore. That bastard found out Xinxin couldn't have children and immediately went and got a marriage certificate with a young girl. He even stole Xinxin's last bit of jewelry." Xian went to confront him, and she was beaten by him. Your father felt ashamed. So Mother was sobbing uncontrollably. From my mother's words, I finally learned that back then, when he came to our house, Qing Xian had already fallen for him. Later, Qin Ji stopped bothering me, because he had started seeing Qing Xian. Qing Xian gave up her studies for him and followed him to work in the south. Until recently, when Qin Ji got into trouble there. The two of them fled back. Qing Xian discovered she was pregnant again and forced Qin Ji to marry her. Qin Ji refused, slapped her to the ground, and she bled heavily. The doctor said she could no longer have children. Qin Ji then stole her jewelry and married someone else. I closed my eyes. In my previous life, Qing Xian climbed into Qin Ji's bed, and shortly after I found out, Qin Ji dumped her. In this life, without my interference, they openly entangled with each other. But the outcome was even more tragic. Karma is a cycle, and retribution never fails. Did you call the police? I asked. The room fell silent for a moment. Father stiffened his neck. Call the police. Do you want to make things even more embarrassing? Embarrassing. I looked at him, my gaze sharp. Chin-ji defrauded, seduced, intentionally injured, and stole any one of those charges is enough to put him behind bars. Ching Xin is the victim. The one who should be ashamed is Chin-ji, you parents for failing to protect your daughter. And Wei, the younger brother, who stood by coldly and even added insult to injury. Ching Xin. Tell me yourself, do you want to call the police? Call them. Her hoarse voice sounded like sandpaper scraping over wood. Sister, help me. I want him to go to jail. Over the next few days. I accompanied Ching Xin to the police station, filed a report, and gathered evidence. The police recovered from him jewelry belonging to Ching Xin that he hadn't had time to sell, along with some of her deeply humiliating photos. And even evidence of his fraud and involvement in a pyramid scheme. Zhao Lin hired the best lawyer, and Chin-ji was sent to prison. He roared like a mad dog. Zhao Lin, you son of a bitch. If you hadn't threatened me, I wouldn't have gone south, and I wouldn't be in this situation. Ching Xin, you bitch. You're just a trashy woman no one wants. Even if you throw yourself at them, you deserve not being able to have children. Ha ha ha. Madman. I coldly spat out 2 words. 23. After everything was settled. My mother seemed to have aged significantly all at once. She covered her face, sobbing softly. It's all thanks to you. Xia. Mom was wrong before. Can you not be angry with me anymore? Let's live well together. I sighed, my heart aching and swelling with emotion. Mom. Some cracks can't be mended. There's too much between us. Let's just leave it at that, keeping a distance and living our own lives peacefully. From now on, I'll send you a monthly allowance. This money is only for you. How you spend it is your business. Besides that, let's keep in contact as little as possible. Mother opened her mouth, but in the end, she just covered her face and burst into tears. On the day I left, Ching Xin saw me off for a while. She had become emaciated, her cheeks sunken. Sis, she spoke in a hoarse voice. Thank you, Anne. I'm sorry. This I'm sorry was 2 lifetimes too late. What are you planning to do next? I asked. Once I'm better, I'll go out and find work. Ching Xin gazed into the distance. I want to go south. Far away from here. Don't worry. I won't go down the wrong path again. She paused, her voice dropping even lower. Sister, in the past, I was too immature, too selfish, always competing with you, always thinking that Mom, Dad, and my younger brother should revolve around me. Looking back now, the debt I owe you can never be repaid in this lifetime. I patted her head, saying nothing, before the car started. I took out a thick envelope from my bag and shoved it into her hand. Take this, use it for travel expenses and startup capital. Remember, this is the last time. From now on, you walk your own path. Ching Xin clutched the envelope, her fingertips turning white, as tears fell in large drops. Sister, take care. The car gradually drove away, leaving behind the old, painful, and tear-streaked past far behind. Zhao Lin held my hand. Everything's taken care of. Yeah. I leaned against his shoulder, exhaling deeply, as if unloading a heavy stone I'd carried for years. It's all over. He gently took me in his arms. Let's go home to see Choo Choo. She must be missing us. I nodded and gave him a bright smile. I didn't ask about how he handled Chin-ji back then. At most, he must have caught some leverage and driven him away. After Ching Xin settled down, she called me to let me know she was safe. She said her mother had also gone with her to work in the south, and she couldn't stand staying in that home for even one more day. Wei and his father were causing chaos at home. The 2 of them had several fights. Mom didn't leave them a single penny, and they almost couldn't afford to eat. So they had no choice but to go out and work. I reminded her, take good care of yourself. Sis. You too. 24. Another year passed. Winter gave way to spring. Our studio has grown into a domestically influential domestic beauty brand. My partner Jiang Mingzhu and I have become the industry's much-talked-about twin stars. Jiang Mingzhu is decisive and sharp-eyed in the business world, far from the innocent and carefree girl she once was. And she has finally found someone truly wonderful in her bright and glamorous future. The other person is an engineer named Zhou Yiming, whom she met when she was donating to a poor mountainous area. We met once, and I only thought this man was rigid and strict, completely incompatible with Mingzhu's personality, until one day, I happened to see him picking up Mingzhu after work. Jiang Mingzhu rushed out of the elevator in 10-centimeter high heels, holding half a sandwich in her hand. While walking, he roared into the phone. "What? The color difference at the factory is off again. Tell them to adjust it for me. If they can't get it right, their quarterly bonuses are all gone." Zhou Yiming stood quietly in the lobby, holding a pink insulated cup in his hand. As soon as he saw her come out, he immediately stepped forward. As soon as Jiang Mingzhu saw him, the expression on her face that looked like she wanted to eat someone instantly disappeared, though her brows remained furrowed. "Why are you here again? Didn't I say the meeting would run late today?" Zhou Yiming didn't say a word, simply unscrewed the insulated cup and handed it over. The sweet fragrance of red dates and goji berries wafted out. "Have a drink. You said your throat hurt this morning." Jiang Mingzhu took it and took a sip, her brow relaxing slightly, though her words remained sharp. "So annoying. I'm not a child." Zhou Yiming took her bag, then pulled out a pair of pink, fluffy, rabbit-eared indoor slippers from his own canvas tote, which was printed with the logo of XX Research Institute. "Change your shoes." He crouched down, placing the slippers beside Jiang Mingzhu's feet. "Those heels are too high. They're bad for your ankles and lumbar spine. I looked it up in the literature. Wearing them long-term can lead to..." All right. I got it, Dr. Zhou." Jiang Mingzhu felt a bit embarrassed, quickly kicking off her high heels and slipping into slippers. Her pink bunny ears trembled with her movements, creating a striking contrast with her sharp, professional suit. I hid behind the pillar, stifling my laughter until my stomach hurt. Zhou Yiming stood up and carefully examined her face. "You didn't have lunch again. Eaten a sandwich." Jiang Mingzhu shook the pitiful half-sandwich in her hand. Zhou Yiming immediately furrowed his brows, as if facing an experimental sample that didn't follow the procedure. He pulled another lunchbox out of his canvas bag like a magician. "I brought you pork rib and lotus root soup with mixed grain rice. It's still warm. Let's finish eating before heading back." Jiang Mingzhu finally couldn't hold back any longer. The corners of her mouth twitched upward, but she quickly pressed them down, saying fiercely, "Let's go. To my office." Zhou Yiming carried the lunchbox in her bag, turning toward the elevator with steady steps and a straight back. His serious, focused demeanor made it seem less like he was delivering a meal and more like he was embarking on some national-level scientific mission. Jiang Mingzhu followed behind him for a few steps, then suddenly turned back, precisely catching me hiding behind a pillar. She made a silly face at me and silently mouthed, "What are you staring at?" I smiled and stepped out, giving her a thumbs up. Watching Zhou Yiming meticulously press the elevator button, the doors opened, and he stepped aside to let Jiang Mingzhu go in first, following behind himself. As he turned, he instinctively reached out to lightly support her arm. Wary of her slipping in her slippers, the elevator doors slowly closed. The last image captured being Jiang Mingzhu looking up at him as she spoke, while he slightly lowered his head to listen, his profile appearing unusually soft under the light. Where is it rigid? It's clearly meticulous and careful, another form of romance. Later, I asked Jiang Mingzhu what she saw in him. Jiang Mingzhu swayed her wine glass, a slightly tipsy smile on her face. "Xingxia, do you know, once, when we went hiking, my shoelace came undone." He crouched down to tie it for me. After finishing, he looked up and said seriously, "According to the principles of mechanics and your gait, this knot is the least likely to come undone and won't compress the blood vessels on the top of your foot." I almost died laughing at the time. her eyes sparkling. But later, every time my shoelaces came undone, he would crouch down and retie them for me using that most scientific method. He doesn't say sweet words, but he treats my health and comfort as important subjects to study. And he shows his care for me with the same dedication he puts into experiments. This is worth more than 10,000 I love yous, she concluded, her tone unusually grounded. Yes, some people talk about love, while others put it into action. Zhao Lin is the latter. And so is Zhou Yiming. I looked up and saw Zhao Lin waiting at the door with her daughter in her arms, and my eyes curved into a smile. In this second life, the peak of summer finally bore the fruit of summer. Jiang Mingzhu also became a true, radiant pearl,